Sometimes life gives you moments where your heart speaks louder than your thoughts. And tonight, standing here, I feel something I can't ignore. It's love, real love, the kind that makes you stop, breathe, and realize that silence can be a form of harm. Because when I look at the women in my life, the ones who have carried pain quietly, who have given more than they ever asked for, who have loved without conditions, I feel this weight in my chest. A weight that tells me it's no longer enough to simply appreciate them in my mind. It's time to speak. It's time to stand. Women, your strengths, your softness, your courage, your honesty, they shape the world in ways many never notice. But I do. And I'm here because staying silent would mean pretending that everything is fine when it isn't. Not yet. Tonight, I want to speak from a place of love. Deep, humble, grateful love. Love for your resilience. Love for your stories. Love for the truth that you deserve more, and you always have. And I can't stay silent anymore. Women, I can't stay silent anymore. There is a moment in every person's life where the truth inside them grows louder than the world outside. A moment where the heart stops asking for permission to speak and simply begins to unravel everything it's been holding. And tonight, standing here in this moment, something inside me refuses to remain quiet. It isn't anger. It isn't frustration. It isn't rebellion. It's love. A deep, soul level love for women, for your strength, your softness, your grace, your struggles, your resilience, your tenderness, your courage. A love that has been growing, evolving, expanding inside me until it reached a point where silence felt like a dishonor to everything I've seen, everything I've learned, everything I've witnessed in you. I can't stay silent anymore because too many women move through life carrying weights that no one acknowledges. Too many of you love people with a devotion that rarely gets returned in equal measure. Too many of you hide your pain behind smiles because you've been taught that the world is more comfortable when you are quiet about your suffering. Too many of you are expected to be strong, even when your spirit is tired. And too many of you have learned to endure more than anyone should ever be asked to endure. I've watched women hold entire families together with hands that tremble late at night when no one is watching. I've watched women pour love into people who never learned how to hold it gently. I've watched women survive heartbreaks that could have broken the sky, yet they still wake up the next morning and choose kindness. I've watched women bury their own dreams because someone told them their purpose was to support someone else's. I've watched women shrink themselves to make others comfortable, quiet their brilliance, dim their light, silence their voice, all because the world convinced them that existing fully was too much. And the truth is, I can't stay silent anymore because what women carry is not invisible, it's simply ignored. What women give is not effortless, it's simply expected. What women endure is not natural, it's simply normalized, and these truths sit heavy in my chest, pushing against every excuse that ever kept me quiet in the past. This is not about blaming anyone. This is not about dividing. This is about finally saying out loud what should have been said long ago. Women deserve more. Not in some distant future, not in poetic metaphors, but now, in action, in recognition, in love, in truth. Women deserve to be seen, not just looked at, seen. For your intelligence, your brilliance, your emotional depth, your intuition, your creativity, your wisdom. Too often, women are approached for what they can give, not for who they truly are. But you are not a resource. You are not a convenience. You are not a support system disguised as a person. You are whole. You are layered. You are expansive. And the world should treat you with the reverence that truth demands. I can't stay silent anymore because I've seen how often women's emotions are dismissed as exaggerations when they are simply expressions of a heart that feels deeply. I've seen how often your boundaries are ignored because people assume your compassion will eventually make you fold. I've seen how often your dreams are questioned while others' dreams are celebrated. And it breaks something inside me, not because I pity women, but because I admire you so deeply that it hurts to witness the world misunderstand your worth. I've seen women give loyalty that outlasts storms. I've seen women trust again after betrayals that should have taught them never to open their hearts again. I've seen women apologize for things that were never their fault. I've seen women try to fix people who never wanted healing. I've seen women hold on to people who didn't know how to stay. I've seen women love people through their darkness without ever asking who would guide them through theirs. And that is what love looks like when it's made of courage instead of fear. Your love has been the backbone of humanity. Your empathy has been the quiet glue that kept countless lives from falling apart. Your intuition has guided families through storms. Your emotional intelligence has saved relationships. Your compassion has softened hardened hearts. And yet, the world rarely stops to recognize the miracle that is every woman who wakes up each day and chooses to keep loving despite everything she's been through. I can't stay silent anymore because I've seen what happens when women finally break, when the weight becomes too much, when the silence they've been carrying becomes a scream inside them, when the emotional labor they've given becomes exhaustion they can't hide anymore. I've seen women collapse emotionally in rooms where no one will ever know what happened, only to stand up minutes later and continue caring for everyone else. I've seen women show strength not because they wanted to, but because no one gave them another option. And that is not something to admire. It is something to change, something to unlearn, something to heal. Women deserve softness. Women deserve safety. Women deserve love that is gentle and consistent. Women deserve someone who listens, not just to their words, but to the spaces between them. Women deserve something that the world has withheld from them for too long: rest, emotional rest, mental rest, spiritual rest, the kind of rest that comes from being held, supported, understood, appreciated, the kind of rest that reminds them they don't have to carry everything alone. Women deserve love that doesn't ask them to sacrifice themselves, love that doesn't demand their silence, love that doesn't require them to prove their worth, love that doesn't punish them for feeling, love that doesn't make them smaller. Women deserve love that expands with them, that admires their strength without relying on it, that sees their vulnerability as a gift, not a weakness, that holds their heart with the kind of care it always deserved. I can't stay silent anymore because I've seen how deeply women believe in people, how deeply women invest in love, how deeply women give themselves to connections, commitments, relationships, and too often this deep capacity for love is taken advantage of. People get comfortable with the idea that women will always stay, always forgive, always understand, but even the strongest heart has limits. Even the most loving soul needs love in return. Even the most patient spirit needs to be met halfway. Women are not infinite wells of emotional labor. They are not unbreakable. They are not machines built for endurance. They are human beings with hearts that feel, minds that think, dreams that matter. And if the world refuses to give women the love and respect they deserve, then the world is in debt. A debt that no amount of apologies or poetic speeches can repay. But what we can do, what I can do, is stop pretending not to see the truth. Stop ignoring the emotional imbalance that women have been carrying for centuries. Stop calling your strength natural when it is, in fact, something you were forced to develop. Stop acting like your sacrifices are requirements instead of choices. Stop staying silent when you deserve nothing less than a world that honors you. Women, I speak these words from a place of love because love is the one language the world cannot distort. Love is the truth that refuses to be rewritten. Love is the foundation on which real change is built. And I want these words to be more than appreciation. I want them to be recognition. Recognition of everything you are, everything you've done, everything you've survived, everything you've healed, everything you've carried. Recognition of the countless moments where you stood strong without being thanked. Recognition of the times you stayed gentle in a world that tried to harden you. Recognition of the emotional intelligence you've nurtured for years in environments that barely understood its value. I can't stay silent anymore, because the world needs to hear this. Women deserve to feel loved without conditions, without expectations, without obligations, without having to earn it. Women deserve to feel safe enough to cry without judgment, safe enough to speak without interruption, safe enough to be themselves without apology. Women deserve to feel like their hearts are not burdens but blessings, like their emotions are not problems but gifts, like their presence is not background noise but music. I've spent too long listening to women say I'm fine when they weren't, too long watching women push their needs aside because someone else's seemed more urgent, too long watching women forgive things that should have never happened, too long watching women carry pain that wasn't theirs to carry. And in all of this, I realized something that changed me. Women don't need to be stronger. The world needs to be softer. I can't stay silent anymore because I believe in a future where women don't have to hide their power to feel safe. A future where women are cherished, not for what they give, but for who they are. A future where a woman's no is respected instantly. A future where her dreams are supported with the same enthusiasm she gives others. A future where her love is met with love, not with complacency. A future where her heart is held carefully, not carelessly. A future where she doesn't have to constantly prove she deserves basic respect. And I want to speak directly to the women who have loved deeply and been hurt. The women who have tried endlessly and felt unappreciated. The women who have been loyal to people who didn't know how to show up for them. The women who have been told they are too emotional, when in reality they were simply brave enough to feel. The women who have been told they are too much, when the truth is that others were too little. The women who have been told to settle for scraps of affection, when their hearts were made for oceans of love. You deserve more. You always have. You always will. And I can't stay silent anymore because silence would mean accepting the way the world treats you. Silence would mean pretending the imbalance doesn't exist. Silence would mean allowing the continuation of emotional patterns that have hurt women for far too long. And love, real, genuine, honest love, does not stay silent when something is wrong. If there is one truth I want you to take from all this, it is this: your heart deserves a safe place to land. Not sometimes, not conditionally, not when it's convenient for others. Always. You deserve love that honors your past without fearing your future. Love that cherishes your intelligence as much as your compassion. Love that values your voice as much as your silence. Love that doesn't depend on your strength to survive. Love that holds you gently. Love that stays. Love that grows. Love that lifts you. Women, you are not too much. You are not asking for too much. You are not dreaming too boldly. You are not feeling too deeply. You are simply living in a world that has not yet learned how to love you the way you love others. But that world is changing, and part of that change begins here, with words spoken from love, truth, and vulnerability. I can't stay silent anymore because your worth is undeniable. Your heart is irreplaceable. Your spirit is extraordinary, and your existence is the kind of miracle that deserves to be honored every single day. To speak from a place of love, truth, and emotional vulnerability is to open a door that many people spend their entire lives keeping tightly shut. It means letting the world see the parts of you that don't wear armor, the parts of you that tremble, the parts of you that hope, the parts of you that have been hurt but still choose to feel. And when I think about women, about your hearts, your stories, your strength, your tenderness, I realize that love itself becomes a kind of truth that can't be ignored or minimized or brushed aside. It has a weight to it, a warmth, a responsibility. And standing here speaking these words, I know they're not coming from a place of performance or obligation. They're coming from gratitude and from a kind of emotional honesty that doesn't come easily, but arrives when something really matters. And women, you matter more than anyone ever taught you to believe. To speak from love is to speak with gentleness, but not weakness. It's to speak with softness, but never uncertainty. Because the love I'm talking about is the kind that makes a person look at the world differently. The kind that comes when you've seen women survive storms they shouldn't have needed to survive. The kind that forms when you've watched women carry burdens silently because the world rarely pauses long enough to notice the weight in their hands. The kind that grows when you realize how often women are the foundation of everything, of families, of friendships, of healing, of hope. Yet they're treated as if their strength is simply expected, automatic, endless. But it isn't. Every act of strength a woman gives is a choice. Every moment of love is a gift. Every sacrifice, every embrace, every moment of patience, every word of encouragement, it all comes from a heart that feels more deeply than most people will ever understand. To speak the truth means acknowledging things many people avoid. The truth is that women have carried emotional labor for generations without recognition. The truth is that women have been the emotional safe place for countless people while often having no safe place themselves. The truth is that society praises the strength of women, but rarely asks why they had to be so strong in the first place. The truth is that women deserve a world that doesn't romanticize their suffering but values their peace, a world that doesn't admire their resilience while ignoring the environments that force them to become resilient, a world that doesn't say you're so strong in the same breath that it denies them protection, care, understanding, softness. And when I speak from vulnerability, I speak as someone who has watched all of this, who has witnessed women endure heartbreak and still find ways to love people purely. Vulnerability means admitting that I didn't always see everything clearly. It means acknowledging the times I misunderstood women, the times I underestimated their silent battles, the times I took comfort from women without realizing how much of themselves they were giving in return. Vulnerability means owning the truth that many men, myself included, have benefited from the emotional strength of women without fully recognizing the emotional exhaustion it can cause. Vulnerability means admitting that love sometimes grows not from what we give, but from what we finally learn to see. And what I see now is a depth in women that goes far beyond the surface. It's in the way a woman looks at someone she loves with that soft, quiet sincerity that makes the world feel less heavy. It's in the way a woman forgives, not because she's weak, but because her heart is strong enough to choose compassion, even in disappointment. It's in the way a woman carries hope, even when her own world is falling apart. It's in the way a woman protects the people she cares about with a loyalty that is fierce, unwavering, beautiful. And speaking from vulnerability means recognizing that this comes at a cost. That being this loving, this generous, this emotionally giving, it drains a person. And women have been drained for too long without being replenished. Speaking from truth means saying this clearly. Women deserve love that gives back, not love that takes until they have nothing left, not love that depends on their patience to survive, not love that requires them to be the healer, the forgiver, the emotional guide. They deserve love that nurtures them, protects them, cherishes them. They deserve relationships where their needs matter as much as their giving, where their emotions are treated with respect, not dismissed as too much, where their boundaries are honored, where their dreams are encouraged, where they feel safe, not responsible for everyone else's emotional stability. Women deserve rest, real rest, not the kind earned only after everyone else is taken care of, not the kind that comes with guilt attached, not the kind that feels like a stolen moment between responsibilities. Women deserve rest that is respected, rest that is valued, rest that is allowed, rest that isn't questioned. Women deserve love that doesn't ask them to shrink themselves to be easier to love. They deserve to take up space in every room their heart wants to be in. They deserve to speak without being labeled emotional. They deserve to cry without being seen as weak. They deserve to feel deeply without being told they're dramatic. They deserve to be complex without being criticized for it. They deserve to stand in their full truth without apology. Speaking from love also means acknowledging the beauty of a woman's tenderness. The world often mistakes tenderness for fragility, but tenderness in a woman is one of the strongest forces I've ever seen. It's the tenderness that makes her comfort someone even when she is hurting. It's the tenderness that makes her speak softly in a world that rarely listens. It's the tenderness that allows her to love people through their darkest seasons. It's tenderness that holds memories for others, that protects people emotionally even when she herself feels unprotected. And this tenderness is not something the world should take advantage of. It should be honored, protected, returned. Women also deserve the kind of love that doesn't compare them to unrealistic expectations. The world has taught women to feel like they must be everything at once: strong but gentle, independent but nurturing, confident but humble, ambitious but self sacrificing. And the truth is, women should be allowed to simply be human, to make mistakes, to rest, to change, to evolve, to not have all the answers, to not carry the emotional load of every relationship, every family dynamic, every workplace around them. I speak from vulnerability when I say that I have learned more about love from women than I ever learned from life itself. Because women love differently. They love with intention, with presence, with heart. They love not with ego, but with empathy. They love not through power, but through connection. They love in ways that heal, in ways that make you feel seen, in ways that teach you how to love yourself better. And the world doesn't appreciate this enough. It benefits from it constantly, but it doesn't honor it. Women deserve to be held the same way they hold others, not just physically, but emotionally. They deserve someone who listens to the things they don't say out loud, someone who notices the moments when they are quiet for too long, someone who understands that when a woman says, "I'm fine," it may be the bravest lie she's ever told. Someone who sees past the strength and recognizes the fatigue. Someone who knows that behind every "it's okay" is often a heart begging for someone to say, "But what about you?" Speaking from love means saying clearly that women should not have to earn care by being strong. They should not have to earn respect by being perfect. They should not have to earn love by sacrificing pieces of themselves. They deserve these things simply because they exist, simply because they are human. Women deserve to be loved in the way they love, with depth, with devotion, with presence. They deserve someone who holds their hand not only in celebration, but in silence, in confusion, in fear. Someone who supports their dreams and doesn't stand in the way of them. Someone who chooses them not out of convenience, but out of truth. To speak from vulnerability is to admit that I have seen women heartbroken by people who never understood the treasure placed in their hands. I've seen women give everything to people who gave only the bare minimum. I've seen women stay in situations where they were not valued because they believed love meant enduring pain. But love is not meant to break you. Love is meant to build you. Love is not meant to silence your voice. Love is meant to amplify it. Love is not meant to drain you. Love is meant to fill you. Women deserve a kind of love that feels like peace, not like survival. Speaking from love means acknowledging that women have endured generations of emotional expectations that were never fair, expected to forgive quickly, expected to understand deeply, expected to soften their anger, expected to put others first, expected to be patient beyond reason, expected to heal wounds they didn't cause, expected to manage emotional landscapes while navigating their own storms. But the truth is, women deserve to be first sometimes, to be the one comforted, the one protected, the one understood, the one cared for, the one whose emotions matter, the one who doesn't have to explain why she is hurting, the one who receives the love she has given countless times. I speak from love when I say that women are not difficult. Women are expressive. Women are not too emotional. Women are intuitive, perceptive, aware. Women are not needy. Women know what they deserve and want connection. Women are not too much. They are exactly enough. And the world must learn to rise to their level, not ask them to shrink to fit smaller spaces. When I say I'm speaking from love, I mean that every word comes from a P, place of reverence. Reverence for the way women continue to rise despite everything. Reverence for the way they nurture even when their own hearts are tired. Reverence for the way they shine even when the world tries to dim them. Reverence for the way they hope, even when experience tells them not to. Reverence for the way they carry so much emotional truth inside them and still choose kindness. To speak from truth means acknowledging that the world has not made it easy for women to feel safe, emotionally, physically, spiritually. It means acknowledging that many women walk through life guarding parts of themselves because experience taught them they had to. It means acknowledging that the world needs to do better, that we need to do better, that love must do better. And speaking from vulnerability means admitting that love is only real when it creates space for women to breathe, to be, to grow, to rest.